This is how you can guarantee you'll be broke for the rest of your life. Cut the intro. We don't need the intro today. I'm not playing around. I'm not even going to give you guys, oh, subscribe. We don't need that today, okay? We don't need that. Because quite frankly, I'm not around with today's video. I'm honestly sick and tired of this. You know, this whole thing started, some of you guys know I coach a basketball team. And, you know, we had a tough loss this past week, and I texted, I said, hey, watch the footage. Tell me what you think we could have done better, right? Tell me what you think needs to happen for us to win this game next time, right? A couple of them texted me and said, you know, coach, the reason why we didn't win was because we played this and this defense. And, you know, for those of you that know basketball, we played a man trap, right? And coach, the man trap just doesn't work for us. You know, the teams we play are too good. You know, it's a very clever, someone said it's a very clever defense, but it just doesn't work for us, you know? It's funny because it got me thinking about it. I said, you know, that is a poor mindset. That is a poor mentality. Because successful people, when things don't work for them, they don't just accept that and move on. They make things work for them, right? If something doesn't work for you, you make it work for you, right? Let me give you an example of what I mean by this. So I looked up right here on Google how many people live paycheck to paycheck. And you get different numbers. You know, CNBC says 63% of Americans have been living paycheck to paycheck. Forbes says 78% of workers have been living paycheck to paycheck. But let's put it this way, a lot of people, right? 2/3, 3/4 of people in America are living paycheck to paycheck. I remember reading somewhere that about half of America don't have more than $1,000 in their savings account. That's crazy, right? That's crazy to think about. $1,000 in their bank account, right? And a lot of times people in that situation, they'll blame a lot of factors. They'll say, hey, it's the government's fault, or it's the rich people, it's their fault, or it's my parents' fault because of this reason or this reason or this reason. And there's a million reasons. But you know what they never say? They never say, you know what, maybe it's my fault, right? Maybe I should take some responsibility. Maybe it's not your fault, but maybe I should take ownership of it anyways and make it work, because that's what successful people do. They make things work, right? So instead of that, you know, all they would have to do is literally go on Google and type in how to make money, and they would be presented in a half a second with literally 4 billion results on how to make money. Now, are all 4 billion results scams? No, okay? Are all 4 billion results take you know, hundreds of millions of dollars to start? Obviously not, no. Do they have success stories? Yeah, absolutely they do, right? Otherwise, people probably wouldn't be talking about them online, right? So you could literally get 4 billion results in a matter of seconds, not even a second, right? And yet, 3/4 of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. You wanna know why? Because they say, oh, it doesn't work for me. You know, this country doesn't work for me. The government, yeah, they're not working for me. Oh, the rich people doesn't work for me, right? Everything's me, 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 me. That is the fundamental reason why most people fail in every business ever, including surplus funds, because it's all about who? Me. It's all about me. It's not about serving others. It's about me, right? It's not about, hey, how can I make this work? You know, I'll share with you guys a story. When I started this surplusfund.com education company, right? My partner David and I, we had this idea. We said, you know, we know about surplus funds, and we've got experience in this industry. You know, why don't we go and create some sort of educational content to educate people about it? Because, you know, for example, myself, I learned a lot about real estate investing and business online, but I never heard anything about surplus funds, right? So long story short, that's what we did. We went, we started this movement, and, you know, it took us 6 months to make any money. Okay, we did 17 live webinars, okay, where we paid about $1,000 per webinar, $17,000 that we spent, okay? And on top of that, thousands of my personal hours, thousands of hours trying to get this thing to work, to get people excited about surplus funds and show them the opportunity. And none of it worked until the last one. Finally, after 6 months, it finally worked. Now, if I gave up at any point in that 6 months, right, which I could have very easily, if I would have given up, guess what? You wouldn't even know who I am. You wouldn't even be watching this right now, right? But I didn't give up. Because I didn't say, oh, you know what? Yeah, I know webinars work for other people, but it doesn't work for me. And I know that other people can educate people, but it doesn't work for me. No, you're not special. You're not a special snowflake. It does work for you. You have to make it work for you. Okay? That's how life works. You know, like literally it's the same mindset. Be like, hey, listen, I know you got 4. 2 + 2 = 4 for you, but it doesn't work for me, so it's 5. No, it's 4. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's 4, right? Whether you want to decide that, hey, you know what? I need to figure out how to make money, right? I am going to make surplus funds work for me. You don't know how many people I've seen over the years in this education industry. People that come into a program, whether, you know, it's our lower level program, I mean, you know, pretty much always it's SFM that they come into initially. And, you know, they come in, they see all these people around them having success, and they make 4 phone calls, and they say, you know what, it doesn't work for me. No, it doesn't work for you. You made 4 phone calls, right? You need to make more than 4 phone calls, okay? Literally have a business partner, David Church, who does live cold calls every single week for our students. And not every week does he get a deal on that 1 hour time slot, but pretty consistently he'll get at least 1 or 2 yeses every single week, right? This is not somebody, and I love David, but David is not this Jordan Belfort amazing salesperson. He's just a regular guy, right? His tonality is not amazing. Again, and I'm not disrespecting David. He's great. He's an amazing business partner. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is he's just a regular guy, right? It'd be different if Jordan Belfort was on the phone. You're like, oh yeah, it's Jordan Belfort, okay? But at the end of the day, a lot of you guys out there are not going to have success simply because you're going to make excuses for yourself. You're going to say, hey, it's not for me. And listen, everyone's guilty of it. I'm guilty of it too. Like, for example, with my fitness, my body. I've always wanted to gain weight. And a lot of times I say, oh, it's genetics. Well, I know deep down inside it's not genetics. I mean, yes, it is. It's an element, right? It's an element of it. But the bigger factor is I need to eat more, right? I need to have a more consistent workout plan. I need to do all these things. But instead of looking at all the things that you can do better, most people, what do? They say, oh, no, it's genetics. I can't do it. Right? Same thing the other way. People that are a little bit more heavy set, right? They say, "Oh, it's genetics. That's why I can't lose weight because it's genetics. It's this, it's that, it's this." No. Literally, all you have to do to lose weight is work out and consume less calories than you burn. Okay, that's it. That's what it all comes down to. There's a million different things that go into that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not oversimplifying, but that's what it comes down to. Making money is the exact same thing. You need to provide a service for people that they find valuable enough to pay you. That's literally what it comes down to. It's not that complicated, but people want to make it complicated. And I'm riled up about this because of what happened with my basketball team, but for years I've seen people send me emails like, hey, you know what, Spencer, this program doesn't work for me. Oh, because you're special. It doesn't work for you because you're special. Because the thousands of other people that it's worked for, they all don't matter. It's because you are special that it doesn't work for you. You're in such a horrible situation in life that somehow it just magically doesn't work for you. Newsflash, you're not that special. You're not that special. And if you're going to allow yourself to buy into that and say, hey, it doesn't work for me because of whatever reason that I can't control, you're going to be a failure for the rest of your life. And I don't mean to be blunt, but the truth is you need a wake-up call. If you are like, oh, that's me, you need a wake-up call, okay? Because I don't want to see you fail for the rest of your life. Like, it really is bothersome to me, I've seen so many people that go their whole life saying this to themselves, and it's like, no, it's not anyone else's fault other than your own, okay? Every single decision you've ever made has led you to this point right now. And it's your decision to continue being here or to make better decisions in the future to end up somewhere else. Or worse decisions to end up in a worse place. But you're not going to sit here and blame someone else. Now, I know what some of you are probably saying. You're saying, Spencer, it's easy for you to say. You're successful, you've got money, you're young, whatever it is. Okay, whatever excuse you have for why I'm successful, it's because, oh, you grew up in a nice area, all this. That's fine, you can believe that. But I would actually like to take you to a time where that was not the case. I want to show you the living conditions I grew up in, because I think, quite frankly, you're going to be a little bit shocked that I was able to do what I was able to do given that situation. And so after you see this, hopefully you'll realize there is no excuse. There's no excuse for anything other than this level of success you want to have. So roll the clip.
Rolling action.
Hey guys, so we're just moving out of my house now. It's the house I grew up in. It's my parents' home. I want to kind of show you guys around here. So we have these floors. Well, a couple reasons for that. My brother is autistic, and so he's not potty trained. So he'll pee and poop kind of gross all over the place, and so we couldn't afford my parents couldn't afford new floors, so we just basically had these. And then you'll see, like, as we walk around here, it's gonna be kind of dark. But as we walk around, turn on a little flashlight for you guys.
I can adjust the lighting.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you see, we've got all these holes in the wall, and that's my brother's room right here. I'm gonna open the window here. This is kind of how he sleeps and all that. Trying to potty train him a little bit, so we got that there. And then check out my door. So he actually ran out the door and broke the door off the hinges. So we just kind of taped it back up. This is what the living room looks like. Now we had to actually build that up there, the netting and all that, because my brother, he would throw things. And one time he threw this guitar over. This thing weighs like maybe 4 or 5 pounds, and just threw it over and hit my mom, and that almost killed her. So we had to build that kind of netting up there to prevent that from happening. And obviously, again, all the holes in the walls, he just will have some panic attacks and freak out and just kind of break holes in the walls and all this. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's about a 1,400 square foot house. So, really kind of, was very compact. And then the reason why we only have this little couch out here is because, again, he's not potty trained. So we've had like 4 or 5 different couches here in the last couple of years. And it's just, without being gross, but it's kind of gross. He'd poop and pee on them. or throw up on them, and then we just had to get rid of them because you can't wash it out. So hopefully that inspires someone at some point.
Tell them how much, what you built though in this house, man. Tell them.
So I've built in this house, when we first moved in here, I went in that room and I had just basically given my parents all the money I had to buy this house, the first house that they actually owned. And then since that, which was 3 years ago to now, I've built a company that has doing over $2 million a year. So now I finally get to leave this place. I love my parents. The next step is to help them out and help them get a better situation and help take care of my brother and all that. But yeah.
Just goes to show that there's a lot of people out there that maybe are in good living conditions, but they think they could be in a better spot, and that's holding them back.
Exactly.
Just goes to show, man.
Yeah, man, it doesn't matter where you're from. I mean, you know, you look at like my brother, he'll have these screaming panic attacks and all this, and you know, like the business that I'm running, I mean, whether you're doing sales on the phone or you're doing a live event online or something, it's like, you can't have that in the background, you know? So I would go to Starbucks and I try to work from Starbucks. I do sales calls from Starbucks. You know, I'd go to parks, whatever I could. And then finally, once I was making some money, then I finally got my own office. But I mean, at some point you gotta just, if you get to a point where you just can't accept where you're at and you're just willing to do anything, then you'll figure it out. But until you get there, you're gonna come up with excuse after excuse after excuse.
Is that amazing to you, right? Like, and I'm not here to tell you my story and give you a sob story. I don't need your sympathy. What I need you to do is be empowered. I need you to say, you know what, if Spencer can do that, I can do it too. I need you to stop making excuses for yourself, because quite frankly, you're not gonna live a good life if you allow yourself to make excuses, right? You don't have to be perfect. And listen, I'm not perfect. I am far from perfect. But at the end of the day, one of the things I really strive hard to do is to not make excuses for myself. And listen, I'm not perfect at that either. But at the end of the day, if I'm like, hey, you know, when I was growing up in that situation, I wasn't like, you know, I'm gonna just accept this and it's somebody else's fault. Oh, it's my parents' fault. It's my brother's fault for being autistic. It's the government's fault. No, it's not. It's none of those people's fault. It's my fault. I am taking ownership of this. Now, did I cause those things? No, but it's my fault that I'm still there. So I need to fix that, right? So moral of the story is take some ownership. You know, one of the guiding principles of my company, the number one principle actually, is extreme ownership, okay? And the reason why is because most people go their entire life without accepting anything as their own problem. It's ever always someone else's problem. And that's why it's always someone else that makes the money. It's always someone else that has the success. It's always someone else. Because if it's never you for anything, good or bad. All right, so take some ownership, take some accountability, and that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and that's it. Just take some ownership. I mean, really, guys, it's simple.